Hey YouTube, how's it going? Welcome back to another video. In this video, I want to talk about something that recently popped into my mind. And that is, do you think that light-skinned people, light-skinned black people who have two black identified parents, should they identify as mixed slash biracial instead of identifying as black? And it's something to think about. Do you think that there probably should just be a separate category for, multi-generational mixed light-skinned black people? Or, just light-skinned black people who have two black parents? Do you think it should be like a entirely separate category as far as when it comes to like race classification and things like that? That's just something to think about. There's arguments for it and there's arguments against it. Some people may feel that this is, separating the community. It's dividing the community. It's divisive, and it could be separating families, since some families, it's like a mixture of skin tones within the family, and that could be seen as dividing people's families, right? Not just the community, but also like families within the communities. Because not all dark-skinned people have dark-skinned relatives, not all light-skinned people have light-skinned relatives. And especially when it comes to parents, some light-skinned people have parents who are dark-skinned, or at least one parent who's dark-skinned sometimes. And there's dark-skinned people who have at least one parent, who's light-skinned. Usually I notice, like, when it comes to like dark-skinned people having light-skinned parents, it's usually only one. But when it comes to light-skinned people having dark-skinned parents, it can be two. It can be two. Like, both parents can be dark. It's something to think about. It's something to notice, take note of. But on the other hand, this could decrease some confusion within the community and some ambiguity within the community, because it would be giving people a solid category, right? A solid identity for a group of people who historically, well, I won't say historically, but whose identity was, taken, their specific identity was taken away, through through oppression, right? Through racism, racial oppression. So this could be probably a way to, clear up some confusion, amongst lighter skinned black folks and amongst darker skinned black people. Because then we kind of know where everyone falls, right? There won't be so much guesswork, if you know what I mean. Like, you probably wouldn't have to ask someone, their race as much, because you kind of know where they fall, because there's been a whole established category for this group of people now, versus right now where it's kind of like, this person could be black, they could be mixed, they could be other, etc. And as well, it could be good for darker skinned people, because it could just really, so darker skinned folks won't feel like they have to kind of share their category, like, if you know what I mean. Because sometimes I think there's, in some situations, I think not all, but some, where it's like I feel like some darker skinned people may have resentment towards lighter skinned people because they may feel like they get to benefit from blackness, but they don't have to take they don't have to deal with like the downside of being black. I feel like that's not really spoken about, but I feel like that's low key at play sometimes, especially when it comes to darker skinned people asserting what's black, well, rather, who's black, right? And who's not black, right? Because you notice that, if you notice that, when it comes to defining who's black, oftentimes we come from a place of like pain, you know, we come from a place of, I hate to say it, but a place of like struggle and pain and oppression, not oppression maybe, but we come from it from a negative place, right? Where it's like, okay, if you're black, then you have to experience this, that, and the third, all of those things being negative. And if you don't experience those things being negative, then people kind of question your claim to blackness, right? It's like, do they really have a black experience, right? Even though like not all black people experience that, no, of any shade. Like even darker skinned people could sometimes be like, well, I never went through that, And I think also when it comes to dating, which I don't think we like to admit, but I think for both genders, I think it plays a role. I don't think we really like to admit it, but I think sometimes we can be bothered by some people's preferences when it comes to skin tone, especially when we see that preference being played out again and again, and it's just like, But if, there was like a whole separate category, then people would be expected to date within that category. Not saying that crossover wouldn't happen, because I think it still would. I mean, you know, especially in the beginning, because it would have to take some time to really set in. Kind of like how the one drop rule had to take some time to like fade away. It's still fading. It hasn't faded away yet, but you know where I'm getting at though. But that's just something I wanted to throw out there for you guys. Just present that and see what you guys think about it. So I'm going to bring this video to a close. Thank you very much for watching. Please feel free to comment. Let me know what you guys think. Until the next video, adios and goodbye for now.